we got married because I was pursuing her, but we stayed married because Cameron worked on her pursuability. Nobody wants to pursue a 24-pound bull. You want to pursue a butterfly, right? She had become this butterfly. You're a hot diva with monk-like skill set. And those two images don't come together, you know? A diva and a monk. Whoa, that's what Cami is right now.
Warning, listening to this podcast is going to make your marriage irresistible. Whether you're exhausted from carrying everything and just want him to step up and be a real partner, or you're lonely and aching to feel close and adored again, that's totally fixable. I'm Laura Doyle, creator of the 6 Intimacy Skills. And for 27 years, I've been watching women go from burnt out and disconnected to having the passionate, easy marriage they always wanted. Love is learnable. The secrets are real, and this is where I teach them. Today, you're going to hear from the husband of an empowered wife, Jonathan. He was this close to flying back to India and ending his marriage to Cameron. Today, he says their marriage is a miracle. And he's going to tell you, in his own words, exactly what his wife did that brought him back. Stay with me to the end for your try it tonight takeaway and the 5 words that Cameron said that completely changed Jonathan's mind about their marriage. Real women, real marriages. This is the Empowered Wife Podcast. Jonathan, welcome to the Empowered Wife Podcast. I'm so excited you're here.
Well, thank you for having me, Laura.
Oh, well, I'm excited to hear the whole story about your marriage. I know it's got some ups and downs. What was it that attracted you to your wife in the beginning?
Sure. So let me set the context so that it serves for the rest of the podcast. Uh, I'm of the Indian extraction, like you can tell. So while I was in India, I had a mentor who started to tell me about the American values and about some of his American heroes, and they sort of became my mentors from afar. And all of these mentors I was listening to on a constant basis. One of them taught me that when you're looking for a spouse, you gotta see that you have the same values, the same faith, and same political views. All of those three are very difficult to find in one person. So I had a pretty tight metric by which to see who my spouse was going to be. And I did like a few girls when I was in Canada. I was in Vancouver, and that's a very progressive place to be at. And so I did like some women there, but they weren't matching based on my metric. So a friend of mine asked me to get on this Christian dating website where I found Cameron. And then the first thing was that obviously she was checking all the boxes, same faith, same values, and same political views. But there was something that really hit the home run for me, which was she said something like this during the initial calls. She said that if you want to continue with this, you'll have to talk to my father because I'm under his headship. Now that sounds very traditional, and it is, but that was very attractive to me because uh, on the surface she looks like a diva, but then she was also ensconced in ancient traditional values, and that was very attractive to me. So it said something more than just the skin deep beauty. It was like, wow, this girl is grounded and based, and that's what I would like my kids to have as a mother. So that's what attracted me to her.
Wow. I love that. So right away you just felt this alignment and really her saying that reflected her respect for her father, it sounds like. And that's something and you were kind of already thinking, yeah, I want that for my children. I want this as the mother of my children. And you want to have that kind of respect from them as a father too. So it sounds like you knew pretty early on that Cameron was special, and she is very beautiful too. So that didn't hurt, I'm sure. Like you said, she looks like a diva. So okay. So what happened after that? Did you talk to her father?
Oh yes, I did. I wanted to honor that. So we both come from a Christian background, and uh, it just lined up based on our value system to do that. It was the right thing to do, and we did not just date; we were courting, and I like that again because that's again very it's rooted in traditional values. Uh, the call went very well. Her father agreed to do it. He asked me several questions. I answered. We liked each other, and he gave me a green signal to start courting his daughter. And I must mention one detail over here for just for the record. When she said that I'm under my father's headship, she wasn't living under his roof. She was living independently in Oklahoma, and she was financially independent. So for her to say that with that in mind made it even more special.
Wow. Yeah, I love this. And were you, nervous talking to her father?
No, I wasn't. One of my strengths is a relator. So I like to relate with people, and I like to know about them and all of that. So that was sort of uh, a strength that helped me.
Wow. Okay, cool. So you were pretty confident going into that conversation. And what is the difference between dating and courtship?
It's very hard to tell because there is so much that there's a lot of commonality between the two, but courting, I would say, is something that's done with traditional values in mind. And it's also done with the idea that, oh, we're not just wasting time here, we're doing it with marriage in mind.
Okay.
And we also had chaperones with us while we were hanging out. So I was in Canada when we started date and courting, and I was we were doing it long distance. But when I got here, one of Cammie's siblings, younger siblings, would always be with us as chaperones, and that was very good.
Oh, wow. Okay, I love it. So this is a very it starts out with a very traditional uh, form. And so okay, so you're courting her with the intention that this is going to culminate in marriage. And like how long did that go and how well did that go and how did you know when it was time to like how did you guys end up getting married? That's a lot of questions at once.
Well, Laura, I'm very bad at timeline and
Okay.
remembering dates. Cammie is pretty good at that, but I'm guessing that it was roughly 6 months of our interaction before we finally married. So, how I knew that it was time. Well, first of all, during the courting phase is when I knew that this is the girl I was going to marry, because it's very rare for someone in the 21st century to be ensconced in traditional Judeo-Christian value system. And so that was rare. So to me, that was the marker that yes, she is the one and I am going for it. So every interaction, every decision, every purchase was made around that idea.
Wow, I love it. And all right, so then you proposed at some point.
That's correct. So
Okay.
Uh, after long distance courting for around 5 or 6 months, I got a visa for the United States, came down here, and I was staying at her family's place at their farm. And I brought a ring with me, which I let her dad know that I'm bringing a ring with me. So I'm coming with the intent to propose to her. And before proposing again, I met with him and said, let him know that tomorrow or day after, I'm going to propose to her. And that's what I did. She said yes. And I don't remember the date again, but uh, that's how it happened.
Ah, well, this sounds very romantic and sweet and grounded in like her father's blessing from the get-go.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, so I love it. So, and things were pretty good at first, I'm guessing. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. So we did have value and faith alignment, but we failed to realize that there was a huge personality misalignment and also cultural misalignment. We ours is an intercultural marriage, so it comes with a separate layers of challenges. So we
Ah.
weren't just the male female cultural difference; it was the Indian U.S. cultural difference. So that's an added challenge.
So how did you first start to notice there was personality, challenges and cultural challenges?
So the personality challenge in particular would be uh, I'm very high in agreeableness and empathy. Her agreeableness score was very low, and her empathy score was almost zero. And so, uh, but that goes on to show how the intimacy skills, although personality is sculpted, you cannot change it, but skills can teach you how to work around that, and that's what happened in our story. Our story is a testament to that.
Wow.
So we started to realize early on that when I noticed that when Cameron had some fault, I would be very forgiving and agreeable around her requests, her desires, and her demands. But I started to notice that I wasn't given that in reciprocity. So that was kind of uh, a, a shock to me.
Yeah, definitely. So, uh, so how would that? So this would be. It sounds like a fight. Maybe is that how it would manifest, or were you because you're so agreeable? Were you just sort of absorbing it and like like keep it making nice so that everything could just go along and there wouldn't be conflict?
That's correct.
Okay, and then, but after a while, that gets hard to maintain.
Yes, resentment starts to fester, and so that's exactly what was happening. And um, I grew up in a family where my parents were having conflict almost every day. So I already had this distaste for conflict or even disagreement. And what surprises me is that I, I did not have any issues having disagreement with people in general, but in marriage, the stakes are high. And so my avoidance toward conflict was also getting higher and higher as the time went by. And so was the resentment.
And what kinds of things were you feeling resentful about?
I don't even remember so much of that stuff. But very small things like okay, I'll give you an example. So uh, I could talk the book English, but I did not know the regular vernacular lingo in the US. So one evening after visiting with her parents, we were coming home and I got wet in the rain. So I told Cameron we were chatting in the car and she was telling me something that was very important to her and I needed to wipe my hair dry with a towel. Now I said it like this. Hey, I need to dry my hair. Why not go inside and continue talking? And to her, what that said was that I'm going to use the hair dryer. But that's not what I
Oh,
meant. What I meant was I want to use a towel to wipe my hair dry, but I did not know how to articulate myself in the US English. And so that misalignment in the cultural misalignment showed up and we had a big conflict.
so it's just a misunderstanding.
And it was very
W-
frustrating to me because I had to learn how to be a husband. I had to learn the US culture. I was watching Andy Griffith all the time so that I can learn what the American culture is, how Americans talk. I was trying to hang out with her family every opportunity given. I was trying to be around them so that I could, pick on those small little cues so that I can be more operative in the culture.
So you weren't just showing up like I am just here to be myself. It sounds like you were putting a lot of effort and thought into how you could show up in a way that would be uh, congenial with where you lived and who you were married to and her family. So but despite all this effort, there was a misunderstanding, as there is in every marriage. All marriages have this, and so from her standpoint, she probably felt like you didn't want to listen or you weren't going to listen.
She was
And
sharing something very important, and she thought that I was trivializing the importance of what she was telling me.
yeah, yeah, ouch. All right, and so and in because of your personality and your proclivities to not have conflict, you were just saying, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant." please forgive me, and that kind of thing, it sounds like. Is that right?
That's very true. I was very quick to apologize, and I just wanted to keep peace.
Yeah. And did that work?
No, that didn't work. Uh, and when I look back, I wish I had the skill of standing up for myself and not being too agreeable. And now, after all of these conflicts that we've had, I did become coarse instead of being gentle and strong. So, because I was now fighting back how I'm wired. I'm wired to be agreeable, and it wasn't working. So I was thinking that I got to do something about that. I've got to become less agreeable. And so I started to transform into what I was seeing in my dad growing up. Like he would be very aggressive during conflicts with my mom, and that started to show up in my own personality. And I did not like that in my dad, and here I was seeing that in my own personality, and it was very discouraging and very painful as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It's not who you really wanted to be. It's not how you wanted to show up. So all right, so what else or what else starts to go wrong in your marriage?
So when I got here in Canada, in Vancouver, I held 3 jobs and I was doing my master's. So life was not just busy, it was meaningfully fulfilling. And I thought that America is the land of opportunities, so it's just going to get better from here. And when I got here, to my shock, I couldn't find a job because uh, everywhere I applied, they would say that, oh, you have a master's, but you don't have experience. And so I found myself in this catch 22 position where I just couldn't do anything. And so, um, not having a job was seen by her family as a marker for failure. And I was reading into that as well. And so that's what I would tell myself all the time that, oh, because I'm not able to find a job, I must be a worthless,
Oh,
useless person who cannot contribute positively to the society. So after I got here and I would hear that over and over again, it would just remind me that I'm not that. I'm
ugh,
not able to do that.
painful.
So that was another very serious pressure point on our marriage. And then Cameron was working as a midwife. So I felt all the more useless that, oh boy, she's working. And here I am, I'm not able to procure a job for myself.
Oh, this sounds very painful and like so discouraging. And it sounds very stressful. And so your marriage is not starting off on a great foot at all, it sounds like. Was there a point where you said, boy, we're not going to be able to keep going like this?
That's right. Uh, I started to feel that early on, and I tried. I tried to bite the bullet. I tried to get a grip and do all of those willpower things. But you can do those only for so long. And so many men cope with other things. And so to me, it was like, I don't think it's working. Her family isn't happy. She's not happy. The best possible logical outcome here is an exit. So if I exit, everybody will be happy. And so why not do that? So I started to contemplate privately that I should go back to India and we should just separate because it's not helping. I did contemplate moving to Canada because I could get a job very easily over there because I did have 3 jobs before I moved here. So uh, I just decided on moving back to India, and I started to tell her that I think it'll be great if we just separate
Oof.
because it's
And
not working.
how did that
And
how did that land?
yes, it didn't land very nicely. And that's why I always say this, Laura, that we got married because I was pursuing her. But we stayed married because Cameron worked on her pursuability. Now she has become very attractive using all of the skills and everything, but that wasn't the case always. And so after I pursued her, got married, and I started to see all of these conflicts, and it felt like I was always walking on a landmine. Uh, Felt like leaving would be the best possible solution.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Well, I love that you coined the word pursuability. I've never heard that before, and I love it. I
I, I
totally know what you're talking about.
I hope that is a word, and I'm not just making it up as we go.
Well, if it's not, you're very clever for making it up, I feel. Because it describes perfectly, I think, what, well, I'll hear some more about your story, but I get it. It's she improved her magnetism.
Hmm.
So all right. So you tell her, "Hey, I'm thinking of leaving to go back to India, and we should divorce." Basically, is that right?
Well, I didn't use that word because there's such a stigma around it. However, I did say that we should separate.
We should separate. Okay.
And yes, you are right. During heightened conflicts, I would use the D word.
Okay. And this was terrifying to her. That was not what she really wanted.
That's right. And it was
Okay.
terrifying to me as well because I knew the consequences. India is a honor shame culture, and me separating would be shame. So it was not just embarrassment; it was chagrin. It
Ugh.
was going to hurt my own pride, but logically, it just seemed right that why not just make her happy by leaving? And that just would have broken her now that I look back, and
Oh,
me.
oh, Jonathan. But this is, I just heard something there though. You were trying to make her happy. This is
Hmm.
what you thought the only way you could do it was to separate, to go
That's
back
right.
to another country. And then was she saying like, no, no, don't leave? Like, let's not separate?
She would say that, but then she would get angry and she would say, "All right, then, if that's what you want, go ahead and do it." But I could tell that she didn't mean it. I could tell that by her tone. We did separate. I moved out and I started to live with Cameron's uncle and aunt, one of the finest people, very good friends. They supported me because I didn't have any family or friends here. So they, being on my side, felt like, oh, okay, I'm not alone. Like I was thinking all this time that, oh, I'm all by myself.
Oh, gosh. It sounds incredibly stressful and lonely. And, did you guys, go to marriage counseling or
We
try?
did. We
Okay.
did. We went to several people, and all of these people had pretty good intentions, but they lacked empathy, I would say. They were like, you got to do this, you got to set these things right. And that just doesn't work. That just doesn't work. And we went to Michigan. That was when we were not staying together. uh, Cameron was at that time reading in The Empowered Wife, but she was also pursuing other resources. We were separate when Cami organized that whole counseling thing in Michigan.
Before we get to the part where Jonathan tells you the 5 words his wife said that changed his mind, I want to tell you about something I'm excited about. It's a weekend away, a weekend to laugh, a weekend for self care and discovery. I'm hosting Adored Wife Weekend in Anaheim, California, October 9th through the 11th. If you've been running on empty, doing everything for everyone else, this is 3 days that are entirely, unapologetically yours. Hundreds of women who get it, an 80s dance party, and a live man panel that'll rewrite everything you thought you knew about men. Women come for the girls' weekend and leave pretty stunned by what happened to their marriage. Previous events sold out. Early bird pricing is good through June 12th, saves you $250. Go to adoredwifeweekend.com. I'll save you a seat. Now, back to Jonathan.
We drove separately, Laura. She
Mm.
drove and I drove separately. But when we got there, because she was already reading the book, we weren't just getting the healing, but she was applying the skills. And one of that skills was gratitude. And so when I saw her in Michigan, she came to see me and say hello. And she said, "I'm very grateful for you that you came here. Thanks for doing it." And when she said that, we were gonna stay separately and meet for the sessions. After she said that, there was something about the way she said it. And I don't remember if she gave an apology. I don't remember. She might tell you the accurate account, but she did say that she was grateful for me being there. And when she said that, I said, "Hey, I don't need to stay here. We can stay in the place you're staying at." And so we actually stayed together, and that's where the healing started to happen.
Wow. Wow, that's great. How so you remember it sounds like the moment that she first started using the intimacy skills, in your presence.
That's correct.
And the words, you got the gratitude message for sure, but it may have also been an apology in there, it sounds like. We yeah, but either way, she became so magnetic, you wanted to stay in the same place.
That's correct. She
Wow.
felt safe.
She felt safe. Okay, cool. So
It's
you
like
weren't yeah, you weren't gonna get lambasted for, yeah, being a failure as a husband and yeah, she wasn't gonna criticize or, to try to tell you what to do, sounds like.
that's correct. Like nobody wants to pursue an angry hyena or a 24-pound bull. You want to pursue a butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Everybody pursues a butterfly. Nobody in their right mind will be like, "There's a bull. I need to pursue it." And so she had become this butterfly, and my mind wasn't able to really fathom that because that was new for a change.
Yeah. So were you surprised, it sounds like?
Yes, pleasantly.
Yeah, and, did this give you some hope for your marriage?
Yes, it did give me hope. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I will go and give one last try. If this works, great. If not, that's fine.
And if it wasn't going to work, what were your plans?
Well, I had called one of my friends back in India who is in the same line of work that I aspire to do, which is helping organizations and teams. I had called him up and he had few jobs lined up for me already. And so I was excited. I was actually thrilled to go back because I was so tired of not having meaningful work. Uh, I wasn't, as a man, I wasn't feeling fulfilled. So I wanted to contribute. And so it looked like, wow, finally things are happening in my favor after 2 years of this drudgery of a marriage.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so this is an amazing moment that, you decide to stay in the same place while you're at this event, and, like, what else happened there? Or did anything else happen significant for your marriage?
We had a powerful conflict there.
Oh,
We had a very sharp conflict there. And because we had the shared language at this point, you gotta have skills, you know? Like if I injure my leg and I'm in the hospital for 6 months, healing is great. But after that I have to learn how to walk. And so I think that's what was happening. We were getting healed. Cami was getting healed. I was getting healed. But Cami was learning skills simultaneously through the book. And that was like setting her up uh, to success. But it was also inspiring me, thinking that, oh, she feels different. And she
mhm.
even looks different. Like she looks joyful. She doesn't look like the Cameron that I had seen before.
Wow, she looked different, she looked happier.
That's correct.
Wow.
She looked
So
ridiculously happier.
cute, I love it. Alright, well, this is exciting, this is but there was this big conflict while you were there, this
That's
sharp
right.
conflict, and, what was the conflict about?
I was recording a video. So this is my own personal struggle. I I'm you know how they say I'm a recovering perfectionist?
Yeah.
I would say I haven't started my recovery process yet.
You're still just right in the perfectionist part. Okay,
That's
got it.
correct. So I was recording my video for YouTube on how to give feedback in a work setting. And I was trying to do that. And I asked her if she would help me. And I had brought all of my equipment with me to Michigan so that I could make some use of my time because we weren't going to stay together. So I wanted to do something. So we recorded, but I wasn't satisfied. The first take, I wasn't satisfied. I said, I gotta delete this and re-record. And so we deleted two of those, and she was getting angsty and she became irritated. And I thought, here I am, I'm trying to do something so that I can be a provider, but she's not helping me here. And it just turned into a conflict.
Yeah. All right, so what happens from there then? You're kind of halfway to India to for those jobs, but you have this good encounter with her and then this big conflict. What happens from here?
We returned to Tennessee, and I started to notice a lot of positive changes. And at that point, she had already joined the coaching program and she was working on herself, and she worked really hard.
How did you know that things had changed?
Apologies, the skill of apologies. Like, she would send me these texts random at random times. I want to apologize for something that she had done months ago or last year. And those apologies weren't vague sorries. Those were very specific. Like, I want to apologize for XYZ behavior. And this is not just a sorry, but it's an accountability piece that I wouldn't do it again. And she also started to do that to her family members, to her dad, her brothers, other friends. And so that to me was a sure sign of humility. And humility is very important because without it, you cannot learn anything. So that was a great marker for me that, wow, she's exhibiting this main virtue. And that was very impressive. So that helped.
Wow.
But beyond that, she was also being very grateful. Like, every now and then, she would send me a text, a gratitude text saying, I'm thankful for this and this behavior that you did today. So, yeah, that was encouraging.
Oh, yeah. So were you surprised that she was responding so differently?
Yes, I was surprised because I had a certain picture of Cameron by this point, and my brain had made sort of a template that, okay, Cameron is like this, XYZ. But now I had to do a lot of reworking on, okay, Cameron has totally changed. Uh, and she's a girl who is practicing empathy now. She was practicing a lot of empathy. Uh, I don't know how to give you a specific example, but I could sense that. Like, she was a safe place to be around.
Oh, gosh, love that. Wow. So what a difference. So and were you still separated at this point or
Oh no.
okay.
After returning from Michigan, we were staying together, and I called up my friend and I said, "Hey, bad news, good news. Bad news, I'm not coming. Good news, Cami and I were working on our marriage."
Wow. Wow. That must have been a great moment to be able to say that. And but also probably scary a little bit to that's a risk. This was a risk that you were going to try again.
That's correct. And then I had made up some money working with Cameron's uncle. He has a food truck here, so I worked, made some money, and I was going to use that money for my ticket. And I think I gave it to her for her coaching program or something. So that
That's
to
what
me
I
was like, I don't want to have this temptation on my hands.
so you cashed out the ticket and then gave her the money
That's
for
right.
and by this time you knew then that she was using the intimacy skills, it sounds like.
Yes, that's right.
And sounds like you were in full support.
I felt I felt like she was supported. Before, I felt like the counselors that had helped us, and I'm not talking about the counselors in Michigan or East Tennessee. I'm talking about counselors in general. We felt like we were reprimanded instead of taught that this is how you do it. We were we could sense that the counselors were frustrated. Oh wow, this is a complicated case. Don't know how to do anything with them. So we could sense that, and that wasn't helping. So I
Oh,
felt that she was supported. She was in a community of women who wouldn't judge but help. And that's what we needed at that time.
oh, I love that. Wow. And so how did this I mean, that's a big change right there. You s cashed in your ticket and gave her the money is, just such a sweet gesture, such a gesture of your faith in your future together
That's
too. Yeah, beautiful. And so, so there's so this reconciliation is going on, and I mean, was there a moment when you thought, "Okay, we are out of the woods here. Like, this marriage is gonna make it."
yes. I did have hope and faith, but there was this lingering fear that what if we start to go back into our old patterns? And that did happen. Every now and then we would slip back into the old pattern. But the reassuring evidence that we were out of the woods was that before we would have conflict almost every other day. And now it was happening like once or twice a week. And then also, it wasn't going into hours and hours of conflict. We were able to reconcile faster.
Wow. Okay, so you could see the change. The conflict was still happening, but it was not as bad, it sounds like.
That's right.
And so this gave you more hope and faith that things
Yes,
were on
it.
the right track. And so what about your job situation? What happened with that?
So I did get a job uh, in a factory, which I never imagined that I would get a job in a
You
factory.
have a master's degree.
Yes, and the job was not w- what I'm wired for, but I end up hurting myself. I had a very bad rotator cuff injury, which stayed with me for almost a year. I had to go to chiropractor several times. It was excruciating pain. And finally, it's healed now. But that was the job. I worked for 6 months there and I had to leave because of the shoulder injury. And right now, I am looking for clients. I'm reaching out to people and saying, hey, can I work with your team? Even if it's me just helping you voluntarily for me to gain some experience that I can show on my resume. And I just
Mhm.
apply. And we don't know when the prayer will be answered, but all I can do is try at the moment. That's in my circle of control.
So this point of contention, like your ability to get a job or the opportunity to have a job, um, is still in your marriage. This is still, I mean, the same thing that was a big problem before is still a challenge right now. It sounds like, even though I hear it sounds like you made a huge sacrifice to work in that factory for 6 months, and even it cost you like your physical health, even. So how is that how do you guys address that, or how does that appear in your marriage now?
Well, Cami took a sabbatical from her midwifery, and I didn't have any work. And so there's $0 coming in, but we're happiest in our marriage. And so, from a worldly sense, it makes no sense at all. However, I don't know how else to explain it. And um, that's where we're at the moment.
Wow. Wow. Well, that it sounds like a miracle to be able to have a new perspective, and this happiness without, I guess, yeah, the logic would be, "Oh, well, that situation's resolved now, so now we're happier." But no, you're saying we're able to find our happiness and love and connection.
And I
E
like that it's not in material or monetary security, it's in each other.
Wow, that's very touching. I love that. Well, so so from your perspective, have you changed, as a result of all of this?
Uh, I have, because I'm doing the same skills on her. I like the skill of pure desire. I like to say that, hey babe, I would like to do XYZ, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we've got a shared language now because of the skills. And I also tend to give her apologies when an apology is due. And so, and of course, gratitude. So yeah, it's been really good. But the top skill, if I were to rate out of the six, the top skill that has helped her and me, um, it's staying on your paper.
Okay, and could you so some people listening might not know what we mean by staying on your paper. So
Mhm.
what does that mean?
So it really helped me personally, like you asked, what the changes that I observed in myself was again to be on my own paper, not just in marriage, but other relationships. That if somebody chooses to do life in a certain way, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to do with me. I don't have to control. I don't have to do anything about it. I can just accept it and say it's on their paper. So, coming back to your other question to explain what staying on your paper means, I would say that it's like you explained very in your own inimitable way, Laura. You explained that in your book. You're writing an exam. You're during your exam. You stay on your paper. You don't worry about what your friend is writing, how they are answering a certain question. You write your own paper, you give it, and everybody gets a different mark based on how they performed. So that's what staying on your paper would be. And my wife and I, we've given a funny twist to it. Uh, Stay on your paper acronym would be SOYP, SOYP. And stay on my paper is SOMP. So when she's
So
on my paper, I say SOYP. And when I'm on her paper, she says that to me. So it's become one of those joyful words in our household.
oh my gosh, do you guys say this and there's kind of a smile or a laugh when you're saying swipe or somp?
That's correct.
I'm gonna somp right now.
Yes.
I
And
love-
before, those incidents would turn into conflicts for days on end. And now we can laugh about it.
wow. So what is your marriage like now then? Like how would you describe it? Like yeah, what's it like?
I think you've already said it. It's like a miracle right now because I did not anticipate it. Neither did she. And we're just 3 years in. And one thing that I'm very grateful for is the rough nature of our first couple years because the first 2 years uh, exposed so many pains and so many deficiencies of skill so that we could work on those. And so I'm very grateful for that exposition that happened in our marriage. And now our marriage is calm and it is also honest. We're not hiding behind um, willpower. We're not hiding behind uh, these vague techniques that gets thrown around in the marriage world. You marry to become holy, not happy, or marriage makes you holy, not happy. And this uh, dilemma between the two need not exist. It can be both. You can be holy and happy. In fact, how can you be holy and not happy?
I don't know.
So that's what it is right now. Our marriage is holy and it's very happy.
Oh my gosh. This so moving, Jonathan. Congratulations. It's what a wonderful accomplishment. And I in a way it sounds strange to hear you say that you're grateful for what sounds like an incredibly painful, stressful first 2 years of marriage. So this is it just sounds so wise. It's so humble to have gratitude for that. But it's very moving to me. So Jonathan, what what would you say what would you want a woman who's listening this to know that her husband will experience when his wife practices the intimacy skills?
Instant attraction.
Instant attraction.
Yes, and the skin deep beauty, it's a great starter, but it's not a good carrier. character is what carries you. And I think skills, the 6 intimacy skills, they basically refine character to a stage where you're a hot diva with monk-like skill set. And those two images don't come together, like a diva and a monk. Whoa, that's what Cami is right now.
That is awesome. Well, she is, yeah, Cameron is wonderful. We sure love her on the campus too. And I can see the attraction for sure. And how cool to hear that it's her character shining through. It's not just her physical beauty, but you like both.
Yes, and she needed that permission from you, Laura, almost. She needed that permission from someone. Cami, so here's another thing. During our courtship, during our initial calls, she had said something very pivotal to me, which I thought I could understand, but in practicality, I did not know how to put two and two together. So she said, Jonathan, if you can give me the why behind what you're telling me, I can manage to do it for you. I'll move heaven and earth if you can give me why behind whatever you ask me to do. And I thought to myself, wow, I can explain anything, so I'll tell her the why. But it doesn't work in real life, in marriage, and it just was breeding a lot of frustration and resentment for me to explain why behind everything. Like, she would ask me questions on end, and I couldn't keep up with that. So she needed that permission, that why from someone. And I think she got that from your book and from the community of your coaches. She got her why. And that's what the growth mindset is, that, okay, I'm not there yet, but I will be. And here are the skills. Healing, again, healing is not enough. You need skills to get you from point A to point B. And that's what she got from the community, from the skills. And we're just so grateful for your work.
Wow. Wow. Amazing, Jonathan. Well, this is so brave and courageous and um yeah, it's so vulnerable of you to share all these things with us. And I'm so grateful to you for your honesty, your authenticity in sharing it. I mean, what would make you come on this show and talk about these personal details with me today?
It was very difficult because, like I said, I come from an honor and shame culture. Talking about this stuff is very, very difficult. Uh, but how else do I pay back? This is the best possible way.
Thank you. It's a huge gift. It's a tremendous gift to me. I can't thank you enough, Jonathan. Your story is very inspiring, and especially knowing that you come from that culture. So everything about the way you were raised says don't come out and say things that could bring shame on your family, and yet here you are. And I feel bringing honor to your family by doing so.
Thank you so much, Laura.
You're an amazing person, and I know because I hear from Cameron all the time, a wonderful husband, and you told a beautiful story, so powerful, and I just can't thank you enough. It was great to get to hear all these details.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Laura.
Okay, your try it tonight takeaway is gratitude. Now, Jonathan just said something I want to make sure you didn't miss. He said, nobody wants to pursue a 24-pound bull. You want to pursue a butterfly. And then he described the exact moment his wife became the butterfly. They were separated. He was about to fly home to India for good. They had driven to a counselor in Michigan in separate cars, and they were going to stay in separate places. And Cameron walked up to him and said 5 words. I'm grateful you came here. That's it. Not a long apology or a State of the Union address, not a list of things she's been working on, just gratitude said in a way that he could feel was real. And did you hear what happened? Jonathan thought, I don't need to stay in a separate place. We can stay together. So here's tonight's experiment. Pick one thing your husband did today, anything. He took the trash out. He picked up the kids. He came home. He texted you back. and tell him you're grateful and be specific. Not thanks for everything you do, which doesn't always land, right? Something like, I'm grateful you remembered the milk, or thank you for coming home tonight. One sentence, very specific, and you can say it out loud or you can text it to him and then see what happens. Now, you're the expert on your own life, but you might be surprised, like Cameron's husband was, at what one specific moment of gratitude can do to a man who's been waiting to feel like he's not failing. If you want to try this experiment alongside thousands of women this week, including my certified relationship coaches, come join us in Adored Wife community at adoredwife.com. This takes some courage, especially if things feel cold right now. But if you're feeling brave, you can do it tonight. Are you ready to say or text some gratitude to your husband? Okay, then go, go, go.